In my existence, I have experienced many of the joys and toils of life. The smell of fresh-cut grass on a summer's day, the taste of my own blood, the ache of tired muscles, and the sounds of wildlife when enveloped totally by the forest's ever-present aura. But other completely natural experiences elude me, or at least for the most part. Dreams. Dreams just so happen to be one of the most elusive parts of my being. I hardly ever remember a complete dream or nightmare, save for a few. The one I'm going to share with you is the most vivid dream I've ever had, or probably ever will have. I say dream because that's how it started. A simple yet very pleasant dream. This all took place during my earlier teens, so although it's my most vivid dream, details can get lost over time. Forgive me if it's a little jumbled up. The dream begins with a young me standing in the courtyard of my old high school, the bright sun only just touching the horizon as it sets. I'm all alone, surrounded only by the plain brick buildings that are the gymnasium and science classrooms, with the basketball court not far off. I could feel the rock-hard concrete beneath my feet and the heat of the sun on my body, yet my sense of smell didn't seem present at all. Come to think of it, I couldn't hear anything in the traditional sense either. Whenever there should have been a noise, such as my breathing, there was only that obvious sound you remember hearing, like remembering the beat to a song in your head, but not actually hearing a note. At the time I didn't seem to notice any of this, as I had just came to the sudden exciting realization that I was in fact in a dream. I had never heard of lucid dreaming before this, though I knew it was possible for one to control their dreams. Having the ability to do anything in a world of my own creation, I like to think I did what most human beings have been wanting to do since taking their first gaze into the sky. I ran forward, jumped into the air, and became a bird, no particular type, just one that was now able to carry myself into the heavens to experience flight. It was exactly how you'd expect flight to be. The almost weightless feeling of freefall in between every flap of my new wings, along with dizzying heights, would almost be too much for a naturally terrestrial creature like myself. It's a good thing I knew that this was just a dream and nothing could hurt me unless I allowed it. Time seemed to pass quickly, and I had no idea how long I had been flying. When I looked down to see where I was, it happened. I was suddenly plunging towards the ground, my ability to fly seemingly gone just as fast as the feeling of immense weight came upon me. As I fell, the peripheries of my vision seemed to darken, as if I wasn't falling from the sky, but sinking deep underwater. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't fly again. I couldn't do anything. I was completely helpless in a world I created. I smacked into the pavement hard. The sudden feeling of what my subconscious mind deemed bones and teeth shattering would feel like overwhelmed my senses. This is usually the part where the dreamer wakes up in a cold sweat, but not me. The next moment I was standing in my normal body without a single scratch. Although the sun was setting before, now it was high in the sky, yet masked by the ever so common grey clouds Britain was accustomed to. I was in a car park, the one that belonged to my local shopping district. Cars parked in almost every spot, yet again, no one was around. At least that was my first impression. The presence of another was made apparent by its awful stench, a mixture of a putrid rotting corpse and tar. The thought I couldn't smell here was proven incredibly wrong, as the scent burnt my eyes and made the hairs on the back of my neck stand to attention. I looked around for the source of the stench, clutching my nose as I did so. My eyes scanned along the shop fronts, cars, bins, and then, at the edge of the car park, almost completely obscured by a bush, was it. An almost canine creature, covered in pointy scales that appeared to shine with a viscous oil, stepped into view. A permanent smile of silvery shock-like teeth graced the beast's maw. The thing walked upon 4 spindly legs that seemed like they should snap under the thing's much bigger body. They would almost seem fragile if it weren't for the razor-sharp hooks covering their tips. The eyes, though, were by far the most striking feature of this thing. Thousands of tiny red spheres were packed into each socket, giving them an almost insectoid appearance. Each eye's stare penetrated deep, rooting me into place. I felt like a deer in the headlights. I wanted to move so badly, but only seemed to break free when the beast made its intentions clear and bounded across the asphalt towards me. With each stride, I could hear the hooks clack and scrape inside my mind. This made it almost impossible to tell how close it was behind me without looking, spurring me to run faster as if my life depended on it. My legs felt like they weighed a ton. Every step I took felt like it could have been my last. I had never been chased by any dangerous animal in my life, yet in my dream, I truly believed I had experienced the fear and exhilaration of being hunted. No matter how slow I felt I was going, the beast seemed to always just be at my heels, as though this chase was forced to last. I was teased with a false sense of hope, until whatever subconscious force decided enough was enough and commanded the creature to leap upon me. I felt the hooks dig deep into my flesh. This cruel dream would not allow any amount of pain to wake me up, as this pain was all too real and far worse than anything I had experienced in reality up to that point in my life. Though, thinking back, I guess it's entirely possible, in the infinite possibilities of the brain's innate imagination, to create new pain. Thrashing around, all was a blur as I attempted to remove the beast from my back. All the while, its hooks sliced into my flesh. I suddenly felt an immense pressure surround my head, followed by drops of red liquid. Every tooth that bastard had was now digging into my skull seamlessly. I felt everything, every single carnivorous knife that sawed deep into my head. The bone cracked as it pulled backwards. I tried desperately to follow it with the rest of my body, but I couldn't. It had me pinned to the ground. I tried clawing at it with my hands, but my fingers only tore apart on its scales. All I could do was cry as my cranium was torn open. I couldn't take the pain anymore. I just wanted to wake up or even die if that was the only alternative. The last thing I remember was a snap sensation before I finally awoke. I can't remember if it was a sound or a feeling. I simply didn't care enough to remember. I was just glad to be awake. I was lying on my stomach, my face buried into a pillow, when I noticed a weight on my back. The mind is a powerful thing, though it can be influenced easily, be it by something you saw in popular culture, your own innate fears, or even a dirty house cat trying to get comfortable on its owner's sleeping body.